So many are wanting to grasp at a cure and hope against hope that it'll be the magic silver bullet that will bring an end to this crisis. And that's a natural human emotion. But in this video, in this teaching, we're going to just talk about the dangers of false medications and these alternative drugs. And we'll use a couple examples and hopefully be able to get it and prevent falling into that trap. Okay? So the smartest people among us can buy into these theories and can buy into these false alternative medications. So let's take a quick look here at Steve Jobs, and you should know him as the founder of Apple. And there's Steve Jobs right over here. But like all men, like each and every one of us, he was only as good as his health. And we read in 2003, Steve was diagnosed with cancer. But he stated that he had a rare, much less aggressive type, which is true and which was cited by his medical doctors. Now, the point of looking at this is to just show you that smart, wise people have bought into false therapeutics, and it has it right here perfectly available on Wikipedia for the public to see. Now, look what it says here. Steve resisted his doctor's recommendations for medical intervention for 9 months. Okay? Now, anybody that knows anything about cancer knows the longer you wait, the worse it gets before you do intervention. And look, he resisted his doctors. Okay? There's an example of a man, a genius, but not very well versed on medical science, not very well versed in health science. Okay? He was a genius creating the iPad, absolutely. But when it came to medical science, unfortunately, it seems as if he was ignorant. So he relied on alternative medicine. What's that? Any practice that aims to achieve healing effects of medicine, but which lacks biological plausibility and is untested, untestable, or actually proven ineffective. Smartest man on the planet opted for that instead of his doctor's recommendations. And might I also add that his doctors were probably the best doctors on the planet. This wasn't some family practitioner in Canada. These were the best physicians, cancer doctors in the United States he had access to, obviously, as a billionaire. According to a Harvard researcher, his choice of alternative treatment, quote, led to an unnecessarily early death. Okay? I'll just leave it at that. You can read the rest of the article if you want. My main point is that you can be very smart, educated, and still buy into false teachings, conspiracies about medical intervention. It's very, very alluring in that sense. What's the problem we find? The main problem? They are unproven. The drugs are not proven and or have fraudulent claims against them or have been retracted, i.e. hydroxychloroquine. There was a hypothesis that it could help first, then it was retracted and debunked, and they said, actually, we were wrong on this. It does not work. A review came out. It did not work. There was this anticipation about it, but it didn't work in the end. Unfortunately, it's also a money grab. I believe it's absolute extortion and should be illegal. You cannot extort from senior citizens or widows or poor people that are desperately ill and make profit from them. That is unethical. That is horrible. And man, that is going to be judged one day. The other problem I observe, it can make you even more ill, okay? Not all of them. Not if you take a multivitamin or something like that, but I'm talking drug. When you hear somebody say that smoking pot cures cancer, I mean that could make you more ill. That could give you respiratory problems and infections of your chest cavity when all that tar is loaded onto your lungs. That certainly would be the case with hydroxychloroquine and with Ivermectin as we see it. It leads to conspiracy theories. Oh, the government doesn't want us to know about this secret herb that cures us, or this potion that makes us not age anymore. I mean, it's just silly. It's really crazy, and that's a huge issue today with COVID. I remember top news anchors talking about how hydroxychloroquine was the silver bullet and to cure it, and that the government was suppressing it. And they have all been proven wrong by facts and data. It gives hope, but it's false hope. Now, hope is good, but when it's found to be a lie, it results in a terrible fall. So it might make you feel good at first, but then you're like, what? Ivermectin. Got an email from someone saying there was a peer-reviewed paper, and it's a thing that could end COVID over the whole world. Oh, what a hope that is, right? We want a cure for COVID. All of us do. And sometimes, unfortunately, we jump the gun, don't we? Isn't that the case about the history of this thing? Right? I must say, good doctors that I follow, not all of them, but some of them, were optimistic about hydroxychloroquine initially. They saw how it could, in combination with zinc, interrupt the virus's progression at the cell molecular level. And some of the data was very encouraging. But then there was a review of thousands of patients, both in placebo and in a controlled lab setting, and it showed no benefit. On the contrary, it showed that you could indeed hurt yourself with it if you took it or took too much of it. It could actually kill you because it itself causes heart problems, blood pressure problems, the very thing that COVID-19 affects. The facts are concerning about ivermectin. The facts must be read about the drug, and we must be informed about the truth. What actually does work and what does not? Let's take a look at ivermectin. Medical uses. It was used to treat human diseases caused by roundworms. It is a topical treatment. And on here we can see it kills the active mites, but not their eggs. You need to do a second dose of it. Wonderful. Wonderful for head lice. I would definitely buy it for that. Absolutely. But let's scroll down and see what we have when we come over to COVID-19. And there's a couple articles right there you can read. And just read it. What does it say? It is not approved by the U.S. Food and Drug Administration, the FDA, for use in treating any viral illness. Any viral illness is not authorized to treat COVID-19 within the European Union. EMA says that the available data does not support its use for COVID-19 outside well-designed clinical trials. The World Health Organization says ivermectin should not be used to treat COVID except in clinical trial. Misinformation, lower degrees of trust, and a sense of despair. Here's where we're talking about the hopelessness over increasing case and death counts has led to an increase in ivermectin's use in Central and Eastern Europe. A black market has also developed in many of these countries where official approval has not been granted. In February 2021, the developer of the drug, Merck, the developer of the drug, issued a statement saying that there is no good evidence ivermectin is effective against COVID-19 and that attempting such use may be unsafe. What don't we get about that? This would go back to the other point we made, how it can make you even sicker, right? You either have COVID-19 or you're worried about you're going to get it. You take this drug, and right there, the manufacturer, the very people that you would think be making money from this, are saying that it's unsafe to use. The United Kingdom, the National COVID-19 Therapeutics Advisory Panel, determined that the evidence base and plausibility of ivermectin as a COVID-19 treatment were insufficient to pursue further investigations. So they threw it right out the window like a piece of garbage, okay? It doesn't even warrant investigations. It's fool's gold, okay? It's worthless. Move on. let's find out something that actually may work, okay? It's a bust. Accept it. I'll leave it at that. Examples of false alternative therapeutics. We'll just share a few briefly. Shark cartilage. That was one that kind of stuck with me. We had a cancer patient, friend of the family, years ago, and there was an article or some news that shark's cartilage was a cure for it. And sadly and heartbreakingly, we remember that family with advanced stage 4 cancer went into their purse, withdrew funds, and bought shark cartilage. For how much money, I don't know. It could have been several hundred. It could have been several $1,000s they paid for it. Needless to say, that person went on and died shortly thereafter. Coconut milk, I'm not going to even talk about that one. Or marijuana to cure cancer. I know a little bit about marijuana, and I can tell you that it does not cure cancer, but some people have advocated that it does to cancer patients. Urinating cow dung, either immersing one's body into it, has been a practice in India. Grinding up silver, so you buy silver and eat it. A foot bath, one was almost laughable when we did some research on the foot bath, which claimed to take this brown black substance out of your body and leave it in the bottom of the foot pan, only to discover that that had absolutely nothing to do with anything coming out of your feet or your body, but was actually part of the machine designed to be an absolute misleading hoax. Herbal medications, again, I won't even go into that one. We've already talked about that with Steve Jobs. A copper bracelet that one could buy for, I don't know, maybe even under $100, that apparently cleanses your blood as it circulates through your body. Magnet healing, anybody heard of that one? Right? Wear magnets and that'll give you strength. That'll give you power and make you stronger and heal your diseases. Salt lamps for healing? I don't think so. I have one, and it's just for aesthetic and light purposes only. I do not expect it to heal me. And I also expose and report these scams to authorities. I mean, these people are preying on ill people. They're preying on those who are vulnerable, those who are sick, those who are dying. Imagine extorting people their money when they're dying. These are the people we need to be helping. These are the people we need to be praying for. I believe those who would target these people and take advantage of them should be charged. And then, of course, we research and collect wisdom and truth. That's just my presentation about these things. I'll leave a couple links in the description below. It's very easy to read up on this stuff. The fact is that we all want a cure. We all want to find a cure for COVID-19. But at this stage in time, we need to focus on what works, right? Vaccines work. That's been proven. Masks work to reduce your transmission of the virus and your intake of it, especially masks like the N95 that are for sale now and not in short supply. And so focus on the things that work and let us not put our hope in things that have been proven not to work. God bless us as we continue to discover truth and wisdom with health sciences. In Jesus' name, amen.